Hello guys. So in this tutorial we are again going to look at the tables, and we will be looking at tables like this, the one that you can see here in this browser window. So what we will see in this tutorial is that sometimes you have seen, like here you can see column header in a table, it expands for more than one row. So previously we had seen that the number of columns in each row should be equal. So but here you can see that there are three rows, 1, 2 and 3, and in the first row there are 2 columns, but in the second row there are 3 columns, in the third row there are 3 columns. So how will you manage that? Sometimes you don't want to have the number of columns in a row to be exactly the same always. So, and this is not a unusual situation, it's a very usual situation that we know everyday life when we make tables. So this is one case, and then there is another case, and that is sometimes we see the reverse of this. Like here, number of we are looking at a column that is expanding for 2 columns here. Sometimes this can be the case with the rows, like marks could be here. I mean, it will be spanning for 2 rows, and then these things like the numbers. So if this comes here, that will be the another case. So here it will be like spanning for more than 1 columns, and here it will be spanning for more than 1 rows. It will be spanning. So we will look at how to do this in HTML, and for this we use a special attribute that is called colspan and rowspan, depending on what we are spanning, columns or rows. So this is also again a very simple thing, so we will look at that again step by step. So this time I'm going to use this gedit. Right now I have started working on Linux. This is Mac. I have started on Linux, so there I started using gedit, and I liked it, so I'm using that for this. There is no indentation, so the code will look ugly, but yes. So first I'm going to, right now this is the code. You cannot see anything because I haven't written anything here. So first of all we will create a table, and this is our table. So we have created a table. Now, as you know, whenever we have to create a table, we will start from the rows. How many rows do we want? So we will write them. So in our case, we want 3 rows. So we will write 3 tr tags. Whatever number of rows you want, you can write that many trs. So we are going to look at the example of column span. The kind of table that we saw here. This, we are looking at that example. Then we can cover the other example also. Okay, so we have 3 rows because we have 3 rows here. Now we can see that this is header. We have mentioned that sometimes we separate our headers from rest of the rows. So these are like normal rows, and this one is header. So for header, we use th, and for normal rows, for columns in normal rows, we use td. So here we use td. Headers are for headers we use th, and here headers are a bit bold in size. So if you want a particular row to be bold, then you can use th, or you can use css. There are so many ways to do these things. So here we can see there are 3 rows. We have written 3 trs, and we have written 3 trs. You can see here. Now in the first row there will be 2 headers, there will be 2 columns, and rest of the rows there will be 3 columns. So we will write that many tds. But for the first one, let it make it a bit beautiful. For first row we want to write headers rather than normal rows. So th pairs. We want only 2 columns in first row, so we have written only 2 h's. And for the other rows we want 3 columns, so we will write 3 pairs of TD tags. This is more like when you have to create a table, so first you better draw it, then life becomes easy. Not much easy, because writing a table is always easy, but still this is so tedious. Okay, so for first row we have written 2 th tags because we wanted 2 columns. For second row and third row we wanted 3 columns, so we have written 3 tags. So we are going to populate some value. So here we wanted name, and here we wanted marks. So this is John, 45 out of 50, not 100, and 38. Now we are in the third row. First TD is name. You have to make sure. I mean, HTML is not going to understand what you really want. You have to write it. His cousin, Johnny. This is 49. This is 29. Okay. So you can see here, there are 2 th tags and there are 3 td tags in rest of the rows. So this should break. So we are going to refresh our browser. Yes, this didn't break that badly. And okay, so first of all we will give border to our table because it looks like things are hanging in the sky. So this is our table, and we gave it a border property. Okay, so you see here, you can see this. So it's like there is some empty space. It sort of indicates that you should have had here 3 columns in this row, because here you can say they are matching columns, but here there is no matching column. But you actually wanted here to be only 2 columns rather than 3. So you want this marks column to expand to, expand over these 2 columns in other rows. So you will need to do something. So for that, here we are going to use the colspan because we want our column to expand. So we will use colspan. We want this marks to expand. You see here marks. We want this to expand. So we will use here colspan. And we want it to expand over 2 columns. So we will put here 2. Okay. So you understand? We want in this row some column to expand, so colspan will be somewhere here. We want over this particular column to expand, so we will put colspan here. We want this column to expand, so we put colspan, not the row span, that is for row. And then we want it to expand over 2 columns, so we put here 2. Okay, so that is it. We are going to refresh it. Yes, this is not very nice. To make it nice, you will have to use other things, but yes, your column, your table is stable. Okay, so I'm not going to make it very long, long tutorial. So you can see here the column span you have seen here. Now you want to make it row span. Okay, so for row span, marks will be, John 45. Okay, yes. So if we make it otherwise, then again there will be 3 columns and 3 rows. If you want marks to come here, so again it will, and John will go here, so it will be 3 rows, and again name John, Johnny, it will be 3 columns. So we are going to quickly look at the row span. Okay, so again we are going to delete the stuff. Very quickly we will look at that. So I wanted you that it's better to write the table on paper rather than in mind, and here we are going to do the opposite. We are going to write that we have the table in mind. Hopefully it's also in your mind, but never mind, it will be there in this tutorial in a few minutes. Okay, so if you can understand what I'm trying to do here, so mark will be here. So in first row first row will be this way, not that way. So here will be name, here will be John, here will be Johnny. So in first row there will be 3 columns: name, John and Johnny. So we'll put here name will be header, other will be normal columns. John, I'm going very fast. Okay, so there will be, in the second row there will be marks, and then there will be 2 marks, 45 and 49. And this is also TH. TH, this is 45 and this is 49. Okay, so and in third row marks will not be again here because it's there already, so it will be only it will be 38 and 29. So there will be 2 columns. One we will be missing because we have already written marks. Okay, so we are going to see whether we have broken it very seriously or not. Yes. So what we wanted, first row is okay. In the second row we wanted marks to expand over these 2 rows, and we wanted 38 to be here and 29 to be here. But since we didn't mention in our code we didn't mention the first TD, so automatically there were only 2 TDs, so automatically they started from here, then it went to here, so it was empty. So if somehow we give this space to mark, then TDs will start from here, and there are only 2 TDs, so they will occupy these places. Like 38 will come here, 29 will come here, and our table will become stable. So we want marks to expand over this row also. That will solve our problem. Yes, saw it. It's not that intuitive like the previous one, but it's again, we wanted this particular column to expand over 2 rows. So it's like row span is equal to 2. So it means one TH is here and one TH is in the next TR. It's somewhere above TD. You are not able to see it. So the moment you like TR row span 2, it means there is a TD here right before this. So it becomes the second column, not the first column, because first column in this row is occupied by this TH. So that is all. So you've got to have a nick of it. So practice a bit on these rowspan and colspan. They are really easy. I have made rowspan a bit complex, but hopefully you will understand. But and notice that you don't rowspan here TR. You are making that particular row expand over 2 rows in that column. So it's always the column that expands over the row or the other columns. In the first case, it was the column was expanding over 2 columns, so we used colspan is equal to 2. in the second and this example, we wanted this particular column to expand over 2 rows. That's why we used we used row span equal to 2. So column is expanding, so we will use colspan and rowspan with that particular column. And also th, there is no rule that th should always be in the first row. We can use it anywhere, it should only make sense. So that was all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I made it very complex, I hope, but you guys will understand because this is really simple. So in the next tutorial we will look at forms, and that is also very interesting. Goodbye till then. Bye. Thanks.